Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Russia says it has taken control of Ukrainian salt mine town Solidar after a months-long battle, calling it an important step for its offensive. The Defense Ministry said victory would allow Russian troops to cut off Ukrainian supply routes in the nearby larger city of Bakhmut. Ukrainian officials said the fight for Solidar was still going on. The fighting around the city has been some of the bloodiest of the war. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said barely any walls remain standing in the town. Describing almost apocalyptic scenes, he spoke of the nearby terrain as scarred by missile strikes and littered with Russian corpses. The seizing of Solidar would likely be hailed as a victory in Moscow after months of failures and setbacks in Russia's 10-month war. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has accused ex-leader Jair Bolsonaro's allies of aiding the attack on the presidential palace. Lula said he was convinced supporters of Mr. Bolsonaro inside the palace had been complicit by allowing rioters to enter key state buildings, and he vowed to carry out a thorough screening of palace employees in the wake of the attempted insurrection. Some 1,500 people have already been detained in connection with the attacks. At least 6 people have died in central Alabama after thunderstorms and at least one tornado swept through the region. Dramatic security camera footage from Moulton captured the moment a roof was blown off by the tornado. Drone footage shows the extent of the damage. The roofs of several buildings had been blown off and debris scattered around congested streets. According to a study by Peking University, some 900 million people in China have been infected with the coronavirus as of the 11th of January. The report estimates that 64% of the country's population has the virus. It ranks Gansu province, where 91% of the people are reported to be infected, at the top, followed by Yunnan and Qinghai. A top Chinese epidemiologist has also warned that cases will surge in rural China over the Lunar New Year. Ethiopia's defense forces say allies with the federal government during the civil war against fighters from Tigray have started withdrawing from the Tigrayan city of Shire and other regions. It comes as Tigrayan fighters earlier this week began handing over their weapons in line with a peace agreement to end the war. Tigrayan forces have been demanding the withdrawal of forces from Amhara and neighbouring Eritrea from the region. However, there is still no indication if Eritrean troops will follow. Authorities on the Indonesian island of Bali say they have rescued 43 endangered green sea turtles during a routine Navy operation where they stumbled across poachers out at sea. The Chelonia midas, a green turtle species that is protected in Indonesia, were brought to a naval base and were being looked after by wildlife officials. Indonesia has become a hub of international trafficking of marine turtles, feeding demand from countries like Malaysia, Vietnam and China. The population of green turtles has been on a significant decline in recent years. Officials said the rescued turtles will later be released back into the wild. And expert ice sculptors have braved the bitter cold this week in the Russian city of Perm to battle it out to create stunning artwork in the coldest conditions the city's competition has ever seen. Some 8 teams from Russia and Belarus honed their icy masterpieces in sub-zero temperatures over several days, not even stopping with temperatures of minus 37 degrees Celsius. Russia's snow and ice sculpture tournament has been held in Perm near the Ural Mountains since 2007. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.